Okay, here we are. We're going to factor some trinomials. There are many ways to actually do this, but I'm just going to show you the way that I'm going to do it. And it's going to seem pretty easy for something like this, and it might not make sense, but it will make sense later on. So I just create this little grid, and these left two boxes have to be multiplied to x squared. And that's pretty obvious. X times x gets me x squared. The right side has to get me 6. Two things that multiply to get me 6. Okay, well 6 and 1. Now, once you do that, you multiply your diagonals. So 1 times x, that's a 1x. And 6 times x, that's a 6x. And if you add those, you're going to get 1 plus 6 is 7 x's. And you need to try to get this to be the middle. Now 7x is not 5x. So that just tells me that I've done something wrong. Well, not even really wrong. It's just like I'm just guessing. I just guessed 6 and 1. So I'm not going to guess 6 and 1. I'm going to guess 3 and 2. So 3 and 2, let's just confirm. 2 times 3. The right side boxes do indeed equal the right side. 3 times 2 is indeed 6. And the left boxes do indeed multiply to equal x squared. So my left side multiplies to my left, my right side multiplies to my right. But my diagonals, what do they multiply to? Well, I multiply one diagonal, this one, to get 2 times x is 2x. This one, 3 times x is 3x. Now if I add those, I'll get 5x. Hey, that is my middle term. That is good. So my diagonals check. Therefore, my answer is x, that one, x plus 3, and this one, x plus 2. That is now considered factored. So I'm going to erase this 2x plus 3, 2x and 3x, because I don't really need that. Now, that is my answer. Just to confirm, x plus 3 and x plus 2. Say you were to expand this. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Those are alike. 2x and 3x are 5x. This x squared can come down, and the 6 can come down. And that is my original equation. So if I divided these, I divided out something, an x plus 3 and I got an x plus 2. I divided those and now I've got it in factored form, but then I could multiply it and get back the original equation that I got. So I don't want to do the multiplying because the question doesn't say multiply, it says factor. So how do you do it? The left two boxes multiply to the left. The right two boxes multiply to the right. The diagonals, if you multiply your diagonals and added those, it should get the middle term. And that's it. And we're just guessing. So x and x, that multiplies to the left, x squared. 4 times 2, that multiplies to the right. Perfect. So now I got to check it's my diagonals. That diagonal, 2x. This diagonal, x times 4 is 4x. If I added them, 6x. That is exactly what I have. So I'm going to erase my work here. I don't need to show that. All I need is to have this one, which is an x plus 4, and this one, which is an x plus 2. That is factoring. Let's try again. So, and you're going to notice this for a lot of these first ones, it's always x and x. X and x get me x squared. 10, what multiplies to 10? 2 and 5 are 10 and 1, so I'll do 10 and 1. This diagonal, 1 times x is 1x. This diagonal, x times 10 is 10x. 1x and 10x get me 11x. That is not what my middle term is. My middle term is 7. So, I just need to try different numbers. Not 10 and 1, but instead 2 and 5. That's the only other option. This diagonal is 5x. This diagonal is 2x. If I add them together, 5 plus 2, I get 7x. And that is my middle term. So, my left side multiplies to my left, my right side multiplies to my right, and my diagonals multiply and add to get 7x. So I got x plus 2 and x plus 5. And that is my answer that I need to box. Let's try a couple more. Okay, this one right here. The left side needs to multiply to x squared, so x and x. Ooh, so I need to get negative 12. Okay, so I have a couple options here. Well, I've got 12 and 1. That multiplies to 12. One of them needs to be negative. I don't know. I have 6 and 2. One of them needs to be negative. Or I have 4 and 3. But I'm looking at 6 and 2, and that looks like if I somehow I might get 4. So I'm going to do 6 and 2. So I'm going to do 6 and 2. And it needs to multiply to negative 12, so I'll make one of them negative. I don't know. This is why this is a guess and check method. I'm just guessing. So the left side, x times x is x squared. The right side, negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. My diagonals, negative 2x is that diagonal, positive 6x. And if I add those together, I have positive 4x. Oh, that's close to what I want, but I want a negative 4x. And so I'm actually just going to switch it. That was a 6 and 2, but now I'm going to make if you ever get what you want, but the symbol's the wrong way, like I got a positive 4x, let me just change your symbols here. So instead of a negative 2, I'm going to make a negative 6. That diagonal is a 2x. This diagonal is a negative 6x. If I added them, I get negative 4x, which is exactly what I want. So you're going to get an x minus 6 and an x plus 2. Now this takes a lot of practice. And normally we'd be in class, we'd be doing a bunch of things, trying them on the boards, and unfortunately we're just kind of watching me do this. But unless you actually practice it, it probably won't click. But whatever, let's keep trying. This needs to get an x squared. So I'm going to go an x and an x because that gets me x squared. This is 12. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 and 2. Well, one of them needs to be negative, and I don't know. So I'm going to make that negative. So now my diagonal, 2x, this diagonal, negative 6x. Add them up, I get a negative 4x. But that's not what I need. I need a negative 1x. You know, so what do? Well, 6 and 2 didn't work. So I'm going to try 4 and 3. Make that one negative. So the left side still multiplies to x squared. The right side still multiplies to negative 12. I have a negative 3x. On this side I have a positive 4x. If I add them, there's more positives, so I get a positive 1x. Which is close, but I need a negative 1x. So that just means I need to switch the symbols. So I need to make this one a negative instead. And I make this one a positive. So now my diagonals is going to be a 3x and a negative 4x. If I add them, I get a negative 1x. And that is finally it. So I will first put that back. Make that one an x minus 4. And this one an x plus 3. So you can see there that I had to guess. It took me 3 guesses to eventually get this one. You might know a faster way, and that's okay. But I'm going to do this way because it's going to be really helpful later on. Last question for this video here. So x squared, that's going to be x and x. 18. So 6 and 3, but one of them has to be negative. Okay, sure. So this diagonal is going to be a 3x. This diagonal is going to be x times negative 6 is negative 6x. If you add them, you get negative 3x. And I need a negative 7. So that's not right. Changing the symbols, by the way, making this one negative, this one positive, won't help you. You got to choose different numbers here. So 9 and 2, I'll make the 9 negative. So this diagonal is a 2x. This diagonal is a negative 9x, which if you add them, get you a negative 7. That is what I needed in the middle. Okay, so I have a x minus 9 and an x plus 2. Okay, so that is it for the first 6 questions. I'll zoom out a little bit here, and you can fill in any notes. You should definitely be practicing this stuff. I've got a whole worksheet that goes with this. But if you don't get it, that's okay, because there's more questions to do. So like, look at them. Look at all these. They never end. So I'll try to do the next 6, maybe the next 9 questions in the next video. So yeah, just give them your best shot. And if you get stuck, again, just watch my videos.